The $100 trap. Why the first $100,000 feels so heavy. Let me ask you something honestly. If you have less than $100,000 right now, do you still feel like you're not okay yet? Not poor, but not secure either. And if you just crossed the $100,000 mark, you're probably thinking, why does this still feel so exhausting? It should feel easier by now. It should feel safer. But it doesn't. You just feel tired. And here's the part almost nobody says out loud. The first $100,000 is supposed to feel hard. If you reach this point without feeling tired, without feeling frustrated, without ever asking yourself, is this even worth it? Then there's a good chance you haven't really gone through it yet. You're not reckless with money. You're not lazy. You show up to work. You try to save. You invest every month, even if it's not much. Meanwhile, people around you are buying newer cars, moving into bigger places, traveling more often, and you're the one holding back. After a few years of that, you look at your account and think, seriously, after all this time, this is it? That feeling is dangerous. Not because you're weak, but because this is exactly where most people quit. They don't quit because they're bad with money. They quit because this phase gives you no sense of winning. No one claps for you. No one sees what you're giving up. It's quiet. It's boring. And it feels unrewarding. Just you. And the feeling that you're trying hard, without seeing much change. The problem isn't you. The problem is that the first $100,000 isn't a milestone you enjoy. It's a milestone you endure. You endure moving slowly. You endure delayed results. You endure watching others live more comfortably than you. And to understand why the first $100,000 always feels like the hardest part. Why it drains even smart, disciplined people. Okay, now we need to talk about the real question. Why does it feel this way at all? Why trying harder still feels like you're stuck? Okay, now let's talk about where that exhaustion really comes from. It's not because you're working more hours. It's not because you're worse than anyone else. It's because your life doesn't feel any lighter. Even though you've been doing the right things for years. Look at your day-to-day life. Rent is still there, maybe higher. Groceries cost more every year. Insurance isn't getting cheaper. Bills don't disappear. You still have to live. You still have to work. You still have to pay every month. The only difference now? You're also carrying saving and investing on top of all of it. And this is the part people rarely talk about. When you're building your first $100,000, you don't feel like you're moving forward. You feel like you're spending a little less, holding yourself back a little more, saying no a little more often. Life doesn't get easier. It just gets tighter. Meanwhile, you look around. Other people are upgrading their cars, upgrading their homes, upgrading their lifestyle. And you hesitate. Not because you can't afford it, but because you're putting money into something that gives nothing back right now. This is where it gets dangerous. Because the first $100,000 doesn't improve your present life. It only improves your future life. And the future hasn't arrived yet. So people start asking themselves, why am I doing this? Why does this feel so hard? Should I just relax a little? And slowly, investing drops. Saving slows down. Lifestyle creeps back in. Not all at once, but quietly. Gradually. The pain here isn't that you don't have money. The pain is that you're making real sacrifices without seeing rewards yet. You still go to work every day. You still pay your bills on time. You still can't spend freely. But there's no moment where you say, oh, now I get it. And this is where many people get one big thing wrong. They think they're behind. They think they're failing. They think they're not doing enough. But the truth is, the problem isn't you. It's how money works at the beginning. Okay, and to really understand why this phase feels like running in place. Why effort doesn't seem to translate into progress. In the next part, we'll break this down with very simple math. No complicated formulas. No finance jargon. Just numbers that will finally explain why you're not slow. You're just in the hardest part. Okay, now let's talk about the part that finally makes things click. Not emotions. Not motivation. Just math. But very simple math. Imagine a typical middle-class person. After paying for life, they manage to save and invest about $10 a year. Not amazing. But not bad either. In the first year, that $10 is just $10. In the second year, it becomes $20. The growth at this stage? Almost invisible. And this is what breaks people. Early on, investment returns are too small to feel. If you have $30, a 7% return gives you a bit over $2 a year. That $2 doesn't change your life. It doesn't let you work less. It doesn't remove stress. It doesn't buy freedom. It just exists. Now look at it differently. To go from $0 to $100, you have to save consistently, hold back your spending, tolerate years of nothing seems to be happening. Most of that money comes from you, not from your money. You're carrying every brick yourself. Heavy, slow, exhausting. But the moment you cross $100, the math starts to shift. Now, 7% of $100 is $7 a year. And that number is noticeable, is real, finally feels like help. Your money starts working with you, instead of just sitting there. This is why the first $100,000 always feels like the hardest part. Not because you're doing something wrong. Not because you're slow. But because you're doing almost all the work alone. Your money simply isn't big enough yet to carry its share. And here's the detail most people miss. When someone quits at $60,000, $70,000, or $80,000, they're leaving right before the math turns in their favor. They didn't fail. They just stopped too early. Okay, and now we need to talk about the real trap at this stage. Because right when the math starts to make sense, the system offers a temptation that keeps people stuck around $100,000 forever. Okay, now we need to talk about a very dangerous trap that almost everyone faces. Once they cross the $100,000 mark, it's called lifestyle creep. When you hit $100,000, it's really easy to think you've made it. Things start to feel a little better. You feel like you can treat yourself to something. For example, buying a nicer car, moving to a bigger place, going on that vacation you've been thinking about. And just like that, you start loosening up a little bit. But just a little bit. At first, it seems fine. Hey, I deserve this. The problem is, when you start with, I deserve it, it's very quickly that you'll never escape it. The trap is that this incremental spending starts to adjust everything you do. You don't have extra anymore. You don't have room to save more. And you find yourself right back where you started. This is something very few people really realize. Once you start spending a little more, eventually it all catches up with you. And instead of breaking through, you get stuck right there. Okay, and if you're seeing yourself in this video, pause and ask yourself, am I falling into lifestyle creep? This is the moment you need to adjust your course. $100,000 is just the beginning, not the end. If you agree with me, feel free to comment 100K below. And don't forget to subscribe to Next Capital so you can stay tuned for more strategies that will help you break free from lifestyle traps and build long-term wealth. Okay, let's go back for a second. Here's a truth that most people miss. When you look at your account and see you've got $100,000, and you can't seem to move past it, that's because you haven't built a solid financial cushion yet. So, what's the problem? First, we need to understand the trap that many fall into. It's called the false sense of security. You think you have enough. You think you're safe with that amount. But the reality is, you're still playing with fire. Because at this stage, you don't have a financial backup if something goes wrong. And here's where data and science come in. A study from MIT found that most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, even when they earn over $100 a year. The reason is that the false sense of security prevents them from building up enough emergency funds. They believe they're fine with the money they have. But they don't have an emergency fund or safety investments for any unexpected situations. Without a strong financial buffer, you're very likely to fall into the spending trap. And the system will make you accidentally spend all your money. That's why the reality is, $100,000 is not enough. It's just the beginning. So, how can you break through this milestone and move on to bigger numbers? The answer is simple. You just need to change your mindset around money. And before we move on to the next part about why you're stuck at $100,000, feel free to comment 100K below if you agree with me. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Next Capital so you can get more strategies that will help you break free from lifestyle traps and build long-term wealth. Okay, now let's talk about the breaking point that many people hit at this stage. You've probably heard of the financial freedom theory. It's the state where you don't need to work and still have enough income to live comfortably. Sounds ideal, right? But the truth is, you can only achieve that once you break through the financial tipping point. This means that only when you've built enough wealth, enough passive income, can you truly say you've achieved financial freedom. And the big question is, when will you have enough to get there? Remember, you can't just rely on one income source to build wealth, because doing so may easily lead you into the trap of working endlessly without seeing results. A study from Princeton University shows financial freedom doesn't just come from how much you earn, but from how you diversify your income streams. That means you need to create passive income sources, like investments, real estate rentals, etc. Cut down fixed living costs. Build long-term wealth, rather than just focusing on monthly income. So, when you have $100,000, you're still a long way from reaching that goal. Because at this point, you've just begun to see the bigger investment opportunities. Don't let the trap of false satisfaction fool you into thinking you've made it. You won't be able to rest until you have a strong, passive income plan. And this is the crucial next step. Find ways to create income streams that don't require your daily attention to maintain. The most important thing is not to stop when you reach the $100,000 mark. Don't fall victim to the illusion of satisfaction. Okay, now let's talk about when you can really break free from the $100,000 mark. This is the point where many people stop or settle for feeling comfortable. The trap lies in this. You think you have enough to live comfortably, and you begin to feel safe enough. But the truth is, when you're only at $100,000, you're not really out of the woods yet. We need to understand that the trap isn't in how much money you have. It's in your spending mindset. When you have $100,000, you need to start thinking differently. You need to focus on long-term wealth building opportunities rather than just maintaining your current lifestyle. A study from University of California, Berkeley showed that middle-class lifestyle, especially for those with decent income, easily leads them to feel like they're set and don't need to change anything. You might think, but I've been saving, I've been investing, why does it still feel like it's not enough? The problem is, $100,000 is not the end goal. You've only just started getting familiar with financial management. And to truly break past the $100,000 barrier, you need to have a comprehensive financial plan. Only then can you build a solid financial foundation, ready to seize the bigger opportunities ahead. If you're only focused on a single income source, or just hoarding your money, you'll easily get stuck. You won't see the bigger opportunities coming, and you'll always feel like it's never enough. Okay, and to understand the gap between $100,000 and true financial freedom, we need to talk about something important that most people overlook: a diverse financial system and long-term investing. Now we need to talk about the next step to break past the $100,000 mark and build from here. Remember, when you hit $100,000, it's not the end. It's just the beginning. And the most important thing to break through this barrier is changing the way you view money and investment. At this point, you need to focus on long-term investing rather than just saving every month. So, how do you start investing for the long term effectively? First, You need to build passive income streams. This means creating sources of income not from your daily job but from investments like stocks, real estate, retirement funds, and many other passive income sources. Next, you need to learn how to make your money work for you. You can't keep working endlessly to earn money. You need to learn how to automatically make your money grow, leading you toward financial freedom. A study from Harvard Business School shows that people with passive income are able to build wealth 5 times faster than those who rely only on job income. This means now is the time to start investing smartly. Don't let temporary security trick you. If you don't begin building wealth now, it will be much harder for you to achieve the financial freedom you want. By now, you should have a clearer picture of the financial trap that so many people face, especially when they hit the $100,000 mark. But here's something you need to understand. The trap isn't just about money. It's about mindset. You might be thinking, I've hit $100,000. That's enough, right? I've saved. I've invested. What else is there to worry about? And you start to feel satisfied with what you have. The problem is, this false sense of satisfaction is your biggest enemy. You stop because you feel like you've made it, because you think you've reached a stable financial point. But this is exactly the moment you're most likely to lose opportunity. Don't let the "I'm good enough" trap stop you from growing further. The reason is, when you think you've made it, you won't have the motivation to pursue bigger goals. According to a study by Stanford University, people who reach a stable financial point often fall into a state of contentment, and they stop investing further. This is when they stop right before they could reach true financial freedom. The next step is to invest smartly and sustainably. So, how can you break free from this trap and push forward another step? Instead of being satisfied with what you have, start reinvesting your money into bigger, more profitable opportunities. You need to shift your mindset from "I'm good enough" to "there's more to be done." This could mean investing in retirement funds, IRA, 401k, choosing investments that provide long-term growth, or focusing on creating even stronger passive income streams. So we've covered the key steps to break past the $100,000 mark and build a strong financial foundation. From this video, you've learned $100,000 is not the end goal, but just the beginning. The trap is in the false sense of satisfaction that makes you stop too soon. The mindset shift towards long-term investing in passive income is key to breaking free from lifestyle traps and building sustainable wealth. The biggest lesson today is, never stop at $100,000. Don't let the "I'm good enough" trap pull you back. Keep going, find new investment opportunities, and build a stronger financial system. Next steps. 1. Keep investing smartly. Build passive income streams. Invest in assets with long-term growth potential. 2. Build a financial system. Don't rely on just one income source. Create a system that is strong enough for you to rest easy without worrying about money. 3. Boost your financial confidence. Actively manage your finances. Don't let the "I have enough" mindset hold you back. And finally, to not miss out on the next strategies that will help you achieve true financial freedom, be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video with anyone you think could benefit from it. Don't forget to leave a comment, 100K, if you agree with these strategies and want to continue this journey with us.